resentment towards Boris Johnson is growing after a number of his own MPs have accused him of inciting a mob against Sir Keir Starmer.
The Labour leader was bundled into the back of a police car yesterday after being confronted by protesters shouting traitor and Jimmy Savile outside Parliament. Well, the Shadow Health Minister, Dr Rosena, Alan Khan, joins us now. It was pretty shocking scenes. The government would say, well, the Prime Minister has clarified what he said about Sir Keir Starmer's responsibility for the prosecution of Jimmy Savile, and the Prime Minister has condemned what happened yesterday. What more should he do? Morning.
Morning. Thank you so much for having me. I think if Boris Johnson is truly sorry about what's happened, he needs to come to Parliament and apologise unreservedly, like so many of his MPs are asking him to do. Words really matter, and I think nobody wants to see what happened yesterday happen to any MP of any political party. It's dangerous and it's damaging, and the British public, I think it really disturbs people to see it. And we know that when Boris Johnson has made horrible slurs before, for example, calling Muslim women letterboxes, we know then that hate crimes around the country towards Muslim women have gone up. So words matter, especially from the person who occupies the highest office in the land.
But isn't it a bit much to accuse the Prime Minister of inciting these scenes that we're seeing replayed from last night? Because, I mean, yes, they did shout Jimmy Savile and they used the paedophile word and all of that, but they were making lots of other remarks as well that were nothing to do with what Boris Johnson said in the Commons a few days ago. So those scenes could have been exactly the same, minus references to Jimmy Savile.
Look, I wasn't there. I didn't hear what happened or what was said. But I do know that a Prime Minister needs to take leadership and not delve into the dark depths of the corners of the web using conspiracy theories that are being flouted by far-right extremists in our country. And, you know, I've seen the danger that anti-vax rhetoric can have. I work as a doctor in a hospital and I can see what that has meant on our wards, people dying because they didn't have the vaccine, because they really believed some of these conspiracy theories. But what Boris Johnson has been doing, quite frankly, has been straight out of the Trump playbook. He didn't need to come to Parliament last week when he should have been trying to apologise for the fact that he is being investigated by the Met Police and for breaking lockdown rules. He didn't need to drag Sir Keir Starmer into a mess. What we want to do as the opposition is actually get on with the job. We've got really important Opposition Day debates that are coming up today on things like children's mental health. We have a cost of living crisis. People watching this show today are going to be worried about how they have to choose between heating and eating. And right now, we just have a Prime Minister that is trying to deflect, put everything, up into the air and not really concern himself with what matters to British people. And that's what the Labour Party are trying to do.
Can I just pick you up on something? I mean, you don't have to be a conspiracy theorist, do you, to know that the failure to prosecute Jimmy Savile, which was a terrible mistake, did happen on Keir Starmer's watch when he was running the DPP, and something for which he actually apologised. So you don't have to be a conspiracy theorist to think that.
Come on, Richard. Look, we all know that this is just a deep deflection from what Boris Johnson is trying to do. We come into politics to serve the public. Boris Johnson came into politics to serve himself, and there is no barrel that he won't scrape to try and smear people that stand in his way. And you can see that even his own staff at Downing Street have had enough of it, and they quit last week. We have MPs putting letters in every day because they have no confidence in him. But ultimately, Richard, we have a country that's on its knees right now. There's a cost of living crisis. People can't pay their bills. I'm seeing patients in A&E coming in with horrible burns because they can't afford to put the heating on and they have one old electric heater. I'm seeing toddlers coming in who have got scalds all over their bodies because an old manky water bottle burst. What are we doing? What is our Prime Minister doing? On his watch, all this is happening, and he's just busying himself with trying to smear anyone that's going to stand in his way, and he's just so desperate to hold on to power, he'll do anything at this point.
You're the Shadow Health Minister. What do you think we should do about the backlog?
Well, we know that, I mean, it breaks my heart, actually. Every time I do a shift, I have patients coming in pain, people who have lost their jobs because they can't work. Sometimes people are even having their children taken from them by social services because they can't afford to pay the bills or look after them, and their mental health is so poor. And actually, We have a crisis in children's mental health as well, which is what we're talking about today in the House of Commons. But when it comes to the backlog, we know that under the Labour Party, the last Labour government took the waiting list from 18 months to 18 weeks, and we had the shortest wait times ever in history. And we know that in this pandemic, we already went in 100,000 NHS staff short, and we have people leaving every day due to mental ill health. Labour has a plan to tackle children's mental health. For example, what we're talking about today is we are saying that there should be a counsellor in every school, that we would have mental health access hubs in all of our communities, and that people will be guaranteed treatment within a month, actual treatment within a month of referral. And we would grow the workforce, recruiting 8,500 new mental health staff by the end of our first Parliament. Right. These are the things that we should be talking about. These are the things that matter to people and their families, because if we don't invest in our children, in our young people's mental health, we're letting down a generation.
All right, Rosena, we've reached our magic witching hour of 8 o'clock, which means we're out of time. But thank you very much indeed for yours.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thanks for coming on.